episode of Pretty Suited Reactions. Today I'd like to speak about something that's near and dear to my heart that I have recently experienced going out. You know, Atlanta is a very diverse city, and so when I go out, I like to hear an arrangement, an array of different types of music. While I am an R&B and hip hop lover, of course. However, I feel like with the recent climate of R&B and hip hop, you know, going more towards the beefing era, it's so much going on. I feel like we need to bring back dancing. Like, enough is enough. Everybody is sad, mad, solemn, depressed, couch rotten, bed rotten. Turn on the TV. This is going on. That's going on. There's UFOs. We tired. Okay. And so today I want to highlight bring back dancing. I'm a girl. I like girly music. You know, I like to turn up a little bit with my friends, and I also like to reminisce with old school hip hop and R&B too. However, I'm starting to see a turn in where this genre is going. I find myself liking a few songs that some would consider hip hop and some of them would not consider hip hop. Being a student of, you know, the culture that I am, I tried to figure out how can we define this type of music. And I stumbled upon something called progressive hip hop and R&B, where you still have the same kind of elements of traditional hip hop and R&B. Okay, maybe not 90s boom bap type stuff, but traditional meaning like within the past maybe 10 years, that style of hip hop. You know, the Drakes, the Kendricks, the J. Coles and things like that. Something that you would expect for something that's going to be on the radio today. But what I found is that progressive hip hop and R&B is starting to feature some artists that some may know, some may not know, but they're incorporating different elements such as dance and EDM and house and funk into their music to where it sounds very eclectic and also very fun. And that's exactly what I need right now. I don't know about you guys, but it's but so much booty shaking I can do right now. I'm not in a booty shaking mood. So we're going to call this segment Listen Up with Lauren A. Okay. So in this segment, I wanted to highlight some new songs that's out there you may not have heard of and you might want to add on your playlist. Okay. So first things first, who has been the king of R&B for the past maybe year? Now, I know you're going to say Chris Brown. I know you're going to say Chris Brown, and he just recently chopped it up with Usher and called him the greatest. We're not talking about them, right? We know they stamped, they solidified, okay? But as far as the artist who I feel has been really running the R&B game right now, who recently put out a really good project, is Leon Thomas, okay? Leon Thomas is not new to the game. But we do know that he's reemerging on the scene as an R&B artist with his latest album, Mutt, that came out last year. Okay, we all know that this album is, you know, going to win awards, and it's just really kind of merged a lot of old school feel along with, like I said, funk and just kind of like a newer, refreshing energy. But he just recently came out with a song called Just How You Are. Oh my goodness. Just How You Are gives me 70s. It gives me London. You know, I don't know what kind of producers he's been working with, kind of with just like an ear for just blending music and tones and sounds and melodies together. This song, Just How You Are, has been on repeat for me. I would suggest you guys check it out because it actually sounds different than Mutt. And I know that Mutt has his own kind of sound too that's been just new and exciting, but I even feel like Leon Thomas is kind of past performing Mutt. Like he's kind of like on to a new phase. And this sound that he's coming out with Just How You Are, I feel like that's going to be what we're going to be getting from him in the next coming months. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to hear it when he does it, when he performs this live, because I'm going to be probably in there sweating, having a good time. Okay. So in the same breath of Leon Thomas, I feel like we know Justin Bieber has been kind of solidified, I would say, in R&B. He has the tendency, just like Justin Timberlake, to go back and forth between pop and R&B, but he's dabbling in this progressive R&B phase with his latest album Swag that came out this year. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the album in totality, there are a few good songs on there. And on that album, the song called Daisies, it gives me the same uplifting, progressive R&B feel that can go right after Leon Thomas's Just How You Are. I mean, as far as how it can blend, that song right there is really a jam. Now, there is an artist that I just discovered. Literally, I don't know if it was like a Instagram ad or something like that, but this artist by the name of Ray, I think she's British. Don't get me, don't misquote me, but I think she's British, and she kind of looks like she's might be Indian, but a British Indian. I'm not quite sure, but she is amazing. Her voice is very, you could tell she's like, it sounds like she's traditionally trained to kind of really sing. You know, those singers who really can belt out like their songs and belt out. They have like a voice like a Amy Winehouse, a Lady Gaga. Those weren't just, you know, eclectic artists. Those women can sing. Okay. So this song called Where Is My Husband? Asking in the audience where your husband is crazy. Hopefully he's where he needs to be. Now, Doja Cat is another girly who is not afraid to push the envelope. Okay. We understand from the tree of eclectic girlies. Let's push this back, okay? The Diana Rosses with the Motown and Patty and all of them. You know, they were the founding mothers of the eclectic girlies, okay? Then you kind of get into the Madonnas, right? Because, you know, let's not act like Madonna doesn't fall from the tree of a good Diana Ross. Okay, we're gonna it trickled down during that time, but of course Madonna came out in her 80s. We're gonna give her props for being rebellious. That kind of trickled down into, you know, with the Cyndi Laupers, and you kind of trickled down even more so with the Alanis Morissette, you know, Sinead O'Connor, those girls, right? And then it kind of trickled down even more into the Lady Gagas, and then now you have the Amy Winehouse and stuff like that. And then we get to the Doja Cats. Okay, Doja Cat comes from a long lineage of just eclectic girlies who can not only sing, but they can dance. Let's throw in some Janet Jackson in there. Let's throw in some really good dancers and entertainers where you could tell she takes her craft very seriously, okay? And while she did have a few questionable conversations in some group chats back in the day, I'm not over that, okay? I cannot deny this woman's talent. When you have an it factor, you just got it. And Doja Cat came out with an album this year called V. Actually, just a couple weeks ago it came out. And this album definitely has progressive R&B and hip hop written all over it. From her features down to the production, she is given 70s, 80s pop type of music. She has a song with SZA called Take Me Dancing. And this particular song, I think, is very light, fun. SZA's having a good time on it too, because her voice and her melody goes perfect with this production too. So check out Doja Cat's new album V. If you're looking for a whole album just filled with, you know, like I said, this progressive R&B, pop, yacht rock, 80s music with the saxophones and the, you know, synthesizers and stuff like that, that Doja Cat album is for you. Now, another artist that I discovered, particularly through Instagram, honestly, I know that, you know, when you're putting a reel together or like a story, you always try to choose a song to kind of like go along with the theme. And when I chose a song, I noticed an artist, or I guess a group, that kind of had the same type of music. Now, I'm late to this party because apparently this group came out either during COVID or right before COVID, and that is Thundercat. Okay, Thundercat has these two humongous hits, Funny Thing and Them Changes, and those two type songs can go hand in hand, right? Again, going back to sequencing, those will be two great songs by that artist that can fall right under, let's say, the Tyler, the Creator, or Leon Thomas, because honestly, it actually gives like H&M, right? You going shopping at H&M and you're trying to get a few items and you in the aisles just jigging while you picking up clothes. That's what Thundercat gives you. I just want to party with you. Yeah. Yeah, I know you've heard it. You had to have heard these songs in somebody's H&M or Target or Zara or something like that, because what most stuff say, all the SKUs.
So many SKUs. Look at all these SKUs. Oh, so many products.
So I'm late to the Thundercat train, and I'm definitely going to have to circle back and visit their old projects and incorporate them into my playlist, because those two, I always heard these songs, but I never put a face to the song. And this particular artist, you're saying eclectic, this man literally wears a cat like scarf or hat on his head, like during interviews. I wasn't expecting that. I'm like, he really has a cat hat. Okay, whatever, but do you? All right. But I gotta check them out even more. Speaking of weird interviews and dresses and styles, Teezo Touchdown. What's going on with him? Like, I'm not familiar. Okay, I'm not familiar. But once I, went to the next song after the Thundercat, this guy popped up in that same algorithm. And I saw him before. I don't know if it was an award show, or maybe I think it was that latest Tyler the Creator song that he had from his album, Don't Tap the Glass. But the guy, I noticed that he didn't have any eyebrows. And so I was like, okay, that's different. Okay, Whoopi Goldberg didn't have any eyebrows either, and she was pretty cool. So, I mean, I'm not mad. But when I saw him the next time, he, had a different style of dress and some heeled boots, and his cleavage was out. Okay. So when I was like, who is this person? Because this person seems to be really comfortable in his skin. Okay. And so I checked out the song that came on after Thundercat, and I said, oh, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. This goes perfectly with this playlist. And the song I'm referring to is Impossible. So again, just like Thundercat, Teezo Touchdown has been out. Did I know about this guy? I had no idea. But when I clicked on his Instagram, you talking about just fashion and just his own lane. Like, I love that. I love how he's able to carve his own lane out and just has music that reflects exactly how he looks. Okay. And so that song Impossible on the album How Do You Sleep at Night? I can't even put it in a category of rap or rock. Like, it's literally given rap rock. And I might just have came up with another genre, but anyway, this rap rock that he's doing, I think is very innovative, and it blends in. If you want to have a rock playlist, it blends in. If you want to have a rap playlist, it blends in. If you want to have an R&B playlist, it blends in. He is just really, really good at just using different kind of vibes of different genres and blending it together to make you feel like you need to be backstage hopping on couches. Okay, that's Teezo Touchdown. Speaking of not really knowing how to differentiate between rap and rock, JID just put out a new album over the summer that I think is definitely in the conversation of rap album of the year. When we talk about the clips, when you talk about, Alfredo 2 from Freddie Gibbs, you talk about, JID is in that conversation. And his new album, God Does Like Ugly, was it for me. It had so many different flows. It was very Atlanta. Don't get it twisted. It was very Atlanta. But you can tell his cadence and his flows and the drums that he used had some very big rock influences and funk influences. So I definitely got to put JID on that list. Same thing with Chance the Rapper. When we talk about album of the year, Chance the Rapper is in that conversation. Chance the Rapper just came out with an album called Starline. And, we was looking for Chance the Rapper in the daytime with a flashlight. We were looking for new music from him, right? Because his last effort that he came out with a couple years ago really was so different than Asset Rap and the Coloring Book that, he was discredited. He was talking about his wife and how great his life was, and just people just did not really gravitate towards the content. And so, hearing him on this press run for this album, you really start to root for him. You really start to see, like, although he's going through hardships, with his ex-wife and divorce and things like that, you could still see that this man is talented and he wants it. He works hard, and he really does care about the work that he puts out there. So not just some skater boy stonehead type stuff, but really like talking about what's going on in the world, talking about what's going on. He has a lot of gospel in that album, and so the way that they blended it has definitely deserved a place on this progressive hip hop list. And I wouldn't be surprised if that actual album comes up in the Grammy consideration for best progressive hip hop album. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? Because now they have separated the categories, because you just can't put stuff like, Starline and Teezo Touchdown and Tyler the Creator in just regular hip hop, because it's just not. Last but not least, the person that I want to mention on this type of playlist is, of course, Tyler the Creator's Ring Ring Ring. Okay, Ring 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 has been on repeat for me in the grocery store. Ring 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 has been on repeat for me in the gym, on the way to work. That song just literally uplifts my spirit. Like, and Tyler, I want to emphasize how much Tyler is an advocate for us bringing back dance. Because as we know, the lounges and the clubs and the parties just ain't hitting like it used to. Okay? We used to be on the floor sweating. Okay? We used to be on the floor sweating, dripping sweat from just dancing. And I feel like that is a lost art. Now, were there some twerking involved in those conversations? Sure. But I would even much rather that than the way that it's going right now, and nobody is actually dancing on these dance floors. Why are we at this party if nobody is dancing? You just want to be seen, just be on the phone, just Instagramming it, making it look like we have a good time? Absolutely not. Not in my 30s, I'm not doing that. Literally. When I get to the, thinking about, going out and just getting all dressed up, all dolled up, just to stand around and watch you on your phone, that's not appealing to me anymore. And so that's why I feel like changing up your playlist and changing up your environment to kind of like reflect what it is that you want to do, your mission, that's the way to go. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not spending my money on these things anymore. I'm trying to have a good time, okay? So if somebody has a place that has this type of playlist, sign me up for that email list, okay? Get me on that list. Get me a lanyard. I don't care what you got to do. I need to be there, all right? Everybody don't have to sound alike. Everybody don't have to do the same thing. Everybody ain't got to be, Kendrick Lamar, not like us, okay? There's room for everybody in this conversation. So check out these songs. I am going to leave them in a list in the description. And if you have any topics or any subjects that you would like for me to talk about, don't forget to hit me up on Instagram at TheLaurenA. I'm also on TikTok at TheLaurenA, and as well as in the comments, okay? I'm going to start some segments where I'm answering your questions, so I look forward to that. Don't forget to like and share this content, okay, guys? If you're a girly like me who likes music, who likes film, who likes TV, make sure you share it with your friends, okay? And until next time, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be good. Bye-bye.